Have you told your friends that you see ghosts?
Oh, absolutely not.
Gina Rodriguez returns in Not Dead Yet.
I'm back, baby!
Who is up?
Oh, she's the obituary writer.
And Brad Garrett joins the brilliant ensemble cast.
Titan, Maverick, Titan of all Mavericks. These are all words used to describe me.
Not Dead Yet. Season premiere. Tonight, 8:30, 7:30 Central on ABC. And stream on Hulu.
Everybody's favorite puppet is back with Little Leech Lady in the big city. That's right. Leech Woman, now a sex and love writer in the big city, is finally getting married to her Mr. Big. But her 3 girlfriends, Miranda, the Pinhead, and Tunneler, must consult her after Mr. Big jewels her for a new woman, Torch. Will Leech Woman win Mr. Big back, or find a new slice of life in the arm and knife of a mysterious stranger named Blade? Find out here on Horror Movie Night.
So that didn't sound anything like a woman. It sounded more like Aaron Mahnke, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Best I can do. I've been screaming and cursing in a car for the last 3 minutes.
Stop listening to new metal and you won't have this problem.
It's pretty ironic. Down with the Sickness was on my car.
You're just stuck like behind the people in the back line, holding onto the steering wheel, like, oh, ah!
All right. So this is my pick.
We're watching Puppet Master 2, everybody.
Yeah, Puppet Master 2. So I think all the way back to the retroactive episode, so pre this podcast, when Adam picked Puppet Master 3, he was showing a lot of regrets for picking that movie because he remembered it being better. And I said repeatedly, Puppet Master 2 is definitely the superior of the 2 movies. I feel like they're equal. I don't think one is better than the other, having rewatched this one. But
I was hoping that my love of PM3 would have successfully rubbed off on you, and you would think of it as the greatest of the Puppet Masters by now.
I think I just like this one because it's one of only 2 of them where like the puppets are the villains, and I feel like it's the one where they're done best as the villains, and everything else they're like anti-heroes. Which is why I give this one the slight edge.
Yeah, they definitely retconned this entire fucking story for 3.
Yeah, it's actually better, I think, to watch 1 than 3 than 2, and then none of the other ones.
What, you don't like seeing puppets fight space aliens who also happen to be puppets?
Well, it's amusing the first time, but really slogging through that shit alone is hard. And we're probably going to find that out eventually. And I know how this podcast goes. But so the thing about, I agree that I appreciate Puppet Master and Puppet Master 2 being as actually villainous as they are, but Torch is hilarious. He just goes, "Rah," and then his eyes light up, and you're like, just kill that fucking kid, please. I mean,
oh my god, that child was fucking awful. What a garbage child.
I have written down, actually, if you're talking about Torch's voices, I'm a big fan of, he's very short-lived in this movie, but Driller, just like Tunneler. I wrote down Driller. Jesus. It's because, whatever. Tunneler, for the brief time that he's in this movie, has some amazing groans when he's getting hit. Like, they, throw him against the wall, and he's like, ugh! like full person groan.
When he gets thrown against the wall is hilarious, because it's just like the shittiest little puppet just go, bah! I wish that I was the guy that got to throw that puppet.
It's so much better when he hits him with the lamppost, and it just keeps cutting to this dead puppet on the ground that he's hitting with the lamp thing. He's just like, jab, jab, jab! And it's just like, dude, it's a fucking puppet. What are you doing?
The movie starts with a bunch of puppets digging up a grave. So...
You know how long that would have taken?
Like, I really wish that we could have... There's Puppet Master 3 or 4 should have just been an entire movie of them trying to dig that hole, because it probably would have been fucking amazing.
The headstone says that Andre Toulon died in 1941, and this movie takes place in the 80s, and the puppets have been digging that fucking grave this entire time.
So they're digging up the body of Toulon. They pour some of the reanimation agent on it, which brings back his corpse. And then he just starts... So this movie follows right after the original movie. A group of other people are showing up because of the claims of the people who survived the first movie that there were some killer puppets there. They're like, yeah, right, let's go check it out. And they've got, some like, a bunch of different people, including a psychic who's there. And she immediately is like, there's something funky going on here. And all of a sudden she gets kidnapped, and then, introduce Tunneler killing people. And they're like, oh shit, these puppets are real. Let's try to capture them or whatever. And that's when Toulon shows up in his best Invisible Man cosplay. And no one seems to ask any questions and just accepts every claim that he throws at them about why he's there.
Yeah, and also, what the fuck is his accent? It's like, oh, good of you. He's like the shitty British Toulon that kind of got like voice lessons from Rex Harrison, but it didn't like really take. That's what it's just awful.
Hashtag not my Toulon.
Also in this movie, Leech Woman kills somebody. The leeches had nothing to do with that kill, but she definitely murdered somebody in this movie.
Does she even puke any leeches in this one?
She doesn't live very long.
No, she cuts a man's tongue out and then is almost immediately thrown into a fireplace.
Yeah. So the it's real weird because I did watch it 3-1-2 because my first Puppet Master experience was absolutely the time that I watched Puppet Master 3 for Reddit Horror Club. So I always forget. I actually think I have a note about. I have a note that says the rest of the puppets just let Leech Woman get roasted, which is weird because the puppets really are super low energy in this movie. They're just like, I think I'll do something and then stand around for about 2 hours.
So I feel like Puppet Master 3 really fucks up the logic of this entire movie, specifically because let's think about what happens in this movie. So Toulon has built 2 life-size puppets, and he's going to put his essence in one of those giant puppets and a woman in another one of those puppets' bodies.
Well, it was supposed to be his dead wife.
His dead
Ilsa.
wife, who's Leech Woman.
Yeah, exactly. But we don't know this when we watch part 2, right?
That's what I'm saying. So, like, you watch part 3, and then you look back, and it's like, couldn't he saved a lot of trouble and just, like, put Leech Woman into that other puppet body? Like, I'm sure there has to be a way that he can, like, send them to another persona.
It all depends. Do we consider 1 and 2 canon, or do we consider 3, 4, and 5 canon?
That is true.
Well, the thing is that 2 is arguably the most watchable of the sequels.
Hey, fucking excuse me, 3 is so much better than this movie.
I would like to repeat and quote you on the episode for Puppet Master 3. Hey guys, I'm really sorry about this pick. I remembered loving this movie as a kid, but I was wrong.
Why are you doing your Sex and the City intro voice for an impersonation of me?
Okay, I can do it as you. Be like, hey guys, guess what? I'm sorry I picked this.
I'm not fucking Bobcat Goldthwait. What the hell?
If anyone on this podcast has the Bobcat Goldthwait laugh, it's you, Matt.
Aw.
But it's the thing that gets you noticed at cons.
That is true. It's my calling card, for better or for worse.
Yeah. So there's a you guys remember back in like the early to mid 2000s when every metalcore band had to have horror movie sound clips in every song?
Yeah.
And it was like super like MySpace metal. It was the thing to do. I cannot believe that there was no band that I ever heard that used this quote. Are there any Satanists in the area? Because I want to have a metalcore band so that I can make that happen.
I've summed up pretty much all of the plot line in this movie already. But there's a few other things that I want to note. First of all, there's this flashback to Cairo that I could totally have done without in this movie.
Where the magician man uses his magic laser eyes to set his puppets on fire.
Yeah. That's good shit, man. I mean, I don't know why you guys are complaining. I thought that was like really, really groundbreaking and useful to the story.
Well, we also talked about the kid who eventually gets torched. And we didn't talk about what the kid's doing before he's found and murdered by Torch, which is that he has his G.I. Joe and he strips off his G.I. Joe's clothes, calls it Nazi scum, and lays it against a tree while he beats it with a whip.
Well, it's so this movie is like 1990 or 89. I mean, let's just say it's 89 when they were filming it. I'm guessing that was supposed to be an Indiana Jones joke and not as much of a pastiche as it really came off. But that was the reasoning why. And I feel like this is the thought process. So Chuckie Band is fucking directing this movie. Probably no script whatsoever. He is giving pages to the actors and prop makers like day of, like, this is what we're going to do today. And one day he's like, oh, let's have this kid who's about to get killed by Torch beat up the G.I. Joe and pretend that he's Indiana Jones. And then that marinates in Chuckie Band's brain and we get Toulon. Or Puppet Master 3.
Yeah, but little did he know that it just made this small child come across as weirdly masochistic and sexual. Like it was like, oh, I'm gonna take this
sadistic. Actually, he's a sadist.
Well, okay, yeah, sorry, sadistic, yeah, because he's like, I'm gonna strip this GI Joe down and whip him on the back. It's like, man, if I saw my kid doing that, we're going to the psychiatrist. We got some shit to work with.
Adam, I'm pretty sure that any kid would need to go to the psychiatrist if he was raised by you.
Too mean.
What? No, I mean, we're talking to the guy that read like 200 issues of Archie.
Yeah, Archie was a good Christian comic. But if I had a kid, I'd sit him down, I'd read him my favorite
Make him read The Cross.
It'd be like,
it's time to read about the boys.
Yeah, on this next panel, you can see that the child has been infected by the Cross virus. Look, he's turning around and saying, "Mommy, you cunt!" Oh, isn't it adorable? Okay, go to bed now.
The only other thing that I want to really talk about, we've mentioned it in the previous Puppet Master episode, but this soundtrack is still great. Like, this is the best, like, franchise music that Chuckie B has ever given us.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. I'm going to make it my ringtone. It's fucking dope.
No, you're not. You're still going to have Sonic.
You caught him off guard. He didn't have it queued up and ready to go.
This is like the first time ever he didn't have it queued up and ready to go. So there's a line where Toulon and his wife are meeting the magician in Egypt in the past. And I don't know whose accent is actually worse, Toulon or his wife, because her accent is indistinguishable. It's a million accents and none. It's crazy. And it just kind of is this fluid mix of liquid diarrhea coming out of her mouth. But there is a line that I believe the sorcerer says. He goes, "Do it for the children," which I try to keep in mind anytime I do anything perverted.
Makes sense. So the big finale of this movie, as the puppets just work their way through most of the people in this building, is that the missing psychiatrist is who is selected to be the new Mrs. Toulon. And at the end of the movie, she successfully is put into this puppet body and has...
Wait. No. The redhead scientist is the one who was...
Yeah, the psychic
that
is the
Toulon
old
wanted to
blonde
be
lady.
Elsa.
Oh, that's right. He wanted the other lady. I'm skipping all the way
But
to
then
the end where... Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no. Then the puppets actually put the psychic's body, or brain, soul, whatever the fuck, into the female puppet's body. And, you know, as goofy as this movie is, and how kind of silly the life-size dolls are supposed to look now, it's kind of a fun effect with like the gigantic eyes and the fact that none of their mouths do much except for like kind of their jaws go up and down like a regular puppet would.
Yeah. What I was trying to get to with who ends up in that body is, for whatever reason, I remember renting this movie as a kid and that final shot being really freaky to me. And I think it's just the makeup on the woman where she's a giant puppet. But like, it was super unsettling to me as a kid.
Well,
it's unsettling for me, and I'm an adult.
Just the concept of your brain getting put in these freaky ass puppet things is not pleasant. I suggest anyone that has watched, like, you know, that's scared of dummies and shit, to watch this movie and watch your greatest fear come to life.
Yeah, if you didn't have fear of clowns and you were able to enjoy it, you can enjoy this film up until the last 10 minutes. And by enjoy, I don't necessarily mean enjoy. I mean kind of slog through, watch some puppets be weird, watch Toulon pretty much speak to an open room for half of the movie.
Yeah, he's just yelling to people that can't respond.
Yeah, and he's like just having these long rants. That's what's so funny about this movie to me, is that of the entire series, this one seems to be the one that's the most off the rails weird, because we have Toulon, who you never really see his face. Like the actor who played Toulon, you never really see his face, but he spends the majority of his screen time having like these soliloquies in an empty room with just the camera on him. And I feel like that would have been... I bet that actor was like, yes, my time to shine.
Well, okay, here's the deal. It's all going to be soliloquies, but we're going to wrap your face up in a bunch of shit so nobody can see who you are.
Done. Give
What
me a
did you
paycheck.
guys think about the pacing of this movie? Because I thought that the first half was a little slow, and it could have gone faster.
I mean, it did start...
You asked for it.
You know, he's been waiting like at least 7 minutes to play that shit.
So you don't want an answer to that question, I take it.
Though the first half was slow as shit. I mean, it was cool because you got to immediately see the puppets right out the gate. You see them digging up the thing. But then it's like, oh, we're going to go by this farm, and there's these really ugly rednecks there. And then we're in the house, and we're setting up all these things. And her brother is like an alcoholic or something. It's like, he's like getting all rude and weird at dinner, and she's like, why don't you go to bed? And I'm like, okay, fucking let's do this thing. Come on, I want to see people get killed by puppets. I know there's a flamethrower puppet in this movie. Fucking hurry up and get to it.
Aren't you excited that the flamethrower puppet, his first kill on screen is a child? I feel like, you know, I actually expected that this was your pick, not Matt's. Weird.
Well, no, he killed the fat old woman in the farmhouse first.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Well, yeah, because I was about to say, did he kill the dude too? But no, that was Blade.
No, that was Leech Woman. Leech Woman.
Was that Leech Woman?
Okay, it goes. The deaths go like this. It goes, Tunneler. Shit, I think so. Tunneler kills the drunk brother in the bed, and then they kill Tunneler, and then they cuts to the farmhouse. Leech Woman cuts that dude's tongue out, and then flamethrower, and then she kills Leech Woman, and then Torch sets her on fire.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Fucking nailed it. Yes.
Trash Video is your one-stop video shop in Sleazoid City.
Who the fuck is that dickhead?
I don't know.
We have the best rental stock of horror, cult, B-grade movies available on VHS.
Movies with corpse rape? Oh, let me get set.
Blu-ray? Fuck that shit. VHS!
Faces of Death is a family film.
Our professional, friendly, and knowledgeable staff are here to help you.
Hey, Roxy, after the shift, you wanna go watch a porno with me?
Shut up, Seth. I'm doing my nails.
So stop on by the store today.
It smells like videotapes in here.
Trashvideopodcast.com.
So what did you guys watch this week?
I'm gonna go first. To be honest, man, we've been doing so many of these in a row. Like, I haven't had time to watch anything at all.
Shh, don't tell people.
I don't know. I can't. I told you about 30 Days a Night. I told you about all the comics. I've been rereading Hellboy again for the third time, but I don't think I'm gonna finish it because 3 times is maybe 1 time too many. How are you guys doing? You guys good?
I'll go next. I watched a little movie that you guys talked about in the last couple weeks. I finally watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and it was fucking great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
You know, but you tell us more. Do dive into it a little.
It's fun. I feel like it hits more. It's not even a contest. It hits more emotional moments than the first movie ever did. There's just good, solid acting. The CGI is done well. You guys covered most of it. It's just a fucking fun movie.
I've been listening to The Chain by Fleetwood Mac like nonstop after that.
Dude, Rumors is an amazing album. I don't know if I've talked about this on the show, but man, Rumors is so good. We have it on vinyl, and when people come over, it's almost every single time it's the go-to for when people come over.
And I can say this without ruining anything, but the second that I heard the first couple notes of Cat Stevens' Father and Son, I pretty much was like, oh no, because like that song means a lot to me in various ways, so... I didn't know.
You're like, oh God, why is it raining on my face?
Like I already have my own personal connections with that song, and then adding it to like this movie's connections to that song, I was just like, motherfucker. God, that's a good song. Cat Stevens was so good. But yes, I agree. The Fleetwood Mac Rumors album, I was never a huge Fleetwood Mac fan, but I bought that album because I heard how great it was, and it made me a Fleetwood Mac fan.
I'm just stealing a joke from a show, but it's the best fucking part of it. Have you guys ever watched Flight of the Conchords?
Yes.
So there's that scene where they're talking about, I think it's Murray is like chewing them out for, you can't like have a girlfriend when you're or have like a girl in the band or something. And so he's like, yeah, some of the best albums have been, made when people in the band were dating, like Fleetwood Mac, and somebody else goes, Rumors, and he goes, no, it's all true.
God, Flight of the Conchords was such a good show. You should watch Flight of the Conchords, everybody. How about you, Scott? Anything else?
Yeah. So I went on a crazy binge watching horror movies on Netflix or on YouTube the last week, and I'm gonna kind of pad out the next month of discussion with the shit that I watched on YouTube, and it's crazy the kind of stuff that's available. So I'm gonna talk about 2 today. One of them is one I'd never heard of. The other one is one that I always stared in fear at the VHS cover, and that one is Rocktober Blood. You guys ever watch that?
That movie's a blast.
That movie is killer. I think next October I'm picking it. Like I'm not going to say too much about it. Adam, have you ever seen it?
No, never seen it.
Well, it's in the same vein as Shock 'em Dead and Rock and Roll Nightmare and all those other heavy metal horrors. So,
guys, I got an idea. Fucking next October, only heavy metal horror. I love it. I think that everybody that listens to the podcast will chime in when this episode drops and be like, yes, do this, please, for us. We need it for our naughty bits. So that was the one that I would stare at that cover all the goddamn time. And the movie is not good, but it is awfully charming. And that's just because I love heavy metal from the 80s. It's just so good, but so bad. But the other movie that I watched was on a whim. Yeah, it came up in the suggestions. It might have been the same channel because there are channels that have all these obscure 80s horror movies out there, and I'm just gonna just gonna binge the shit out of them next time I get a chance and just have more material to talk about in my What Did I Watch? So this other one is called Hell High. It was also called the What Do You Want to Do Tonight?
Yep.
That movie. What are you saying? Oh man,
I just am familiar with it. I watched it once, and I feel like I remember just being kind of middle of the road about it. But I do love a good like college slasher film.
it's not college though; it's high school, I believe.
Maybe that's, I don't know. I binged a whole shit ton of them in like one weekend once.
Yeah, that's why I had to take notes of what I watched, seriously. But so Hell High is, it's got a shitty title. I mean, it's really, really boring title. So I would have never picked it out if it wasn't on YouTube for free and I had time to kill. So I watched it, and we're not gonna discuss it on this show because it's far too serious and there's a lot of rape in it. So obviously not gonna talk about it on the show. We do that enough already. So the crux of the story is that this little girl at one time in her childhood was playing out in this swamp, and this boy and his girlfriend come up on his motorcycle, and they go into the shack where she's playing, and she hides like outside and watches them, and the guy tries to force himself onto his girlfriend. She's like, stop, I don't feel comfortable. He's like, fucking bitch. And of course, like every dude in a horror movie that deserves to die. So he gets on his motorcycle and is like, come on. And so she gets on, and they go halfway down the trail and then come back, and the little girl has filled up her pail with mud, swamp mud, sprays them with it. They go flying and smash into this like rusty fence, and they both die. So she's kind of traumatized, obviously. It turns out that she becomes a teacher and is living at home with, I believe, her mother as like a 20-something teaching in high school. And this jock and his friends are like mad for some reason or another. Like, I think she's going to fail them or something. And they're like, I'm going to get this bitch back, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so they like kind of do this weird siege on her house. They scare the shit out of her, and then they drug her, or somebody, her mom or whatever, drugs her, and then they come in and they're like gonna rape her, and then they throw her out a window accidentally, but she's not dead, and so she's like totally out of her mind and kills each one of them in various slasher movie manners, and then at the end she dies, and the one quasi not shitty dude in the group that survives is now insane. And so it's a slow burn. It's not really a great film, but it has a lot of heart, and I felt like it was kind of unfairly obscure. Like it maybe it's just because it's such a crap title, but it was a pretty good movie. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily watch it a second time, but I don't think that hour and a half was wasted.
All right. Good to know. That was Puppet Master 2 from 1990 as picked by me. We are so close to the end of the year. We've got one more movie and then two, not just one, two Christmas films this year. And I'm very excited for both of them. So stay tuned. HMNpodcast.com. It's a great place for all of your podcasting episodes and ways to contact us through all the different forms, including Facebook, Twitter, and all that good jazz. We'll be here every week. That's our promise, and we will continue to do it into 2018. So, thank you for listening. We'll be back later.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.